We're live.
My car's the only one standing in that class.
Oh my gosh,
Everybody else is just completely broken.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what you guys are doing wrong. Try these 1 through 6. How'd it go? Anyway, find the domain.
Pretty good.
Horizontal and vertical asymptotes.
I already forgot.
What's the deal?
Vertical, you said equals 0 is up for x. The other one has 2 rules, I forgot.
Yeah.
The top is bigger than the bottom, then it's no horizontal asymptote, but the bottom's bigger than the top and divide. No, wait, 2 seconds. I said that wrong.
When the vertical asymptote is the one that goes along with the domain, right?
Yes.
Either number 2.
Do number 2. All right, number 2. Let's go with vertical asymptotes. Or let's go with domain. Be easy. It is not all room numbers.
It is x cannot equal
Negative 2.
Positive 2. X can't be positive 2 because then you'd have 2 minus 2 is 0. You can't have that. So your vertical asymptotes then should be easy. Where would there be a vertical asymptote?
2.
At x equals 2. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Horizontal asymptotes? Are there any?
No.
Yes.
Well, let's see. The power on top is definitely smaller than the power on bottom.
So you should,
So it's the x-axis.
okay. I thought those were they were equal.
No, that's when they're equal, it's a over b.
Yeah, when they're equal, you divide them.
And then when the other one is,
When the top is bigger than the bottom, there is no horizontal one.
So we're 3 to 4.
4. Yep. So today we'll add slant asymptotes and then start graphing. So let's see, domain. Looks like x.
they're equal.
What do you do to find the domain? Because I was just doing it in my head, but I should ask you.
So it's equal to 0.
Yeah, you go. Bottom can't be 0, so 1 plus 2x equals 0. Subtract 1, divide by 2.
Negative 1 half.
Negative 1 half. So x can't be negative 1 half. So if it was, that would make the bottom 0.
So the vertical asymptote is negative 1 half.
So the vertical asymptote is at x equals negative 1 half. Horizontal.
It's 1
The
over
power on top.
1 over 1.
They're equal. So when they're equal, no.
5 over 2.
Negative 5 halves. Yep. So y would equal negative 5 halves. Want to graph it? Yeah, we'd love to. All right, let's graph it. Oh my gosh. That's what we're going to start doing. So if you were going to graph this, where would you start?
0.
I think at negative 5 halves.
Whenever the powers are equal,
But
you look at the coefficients of the leading term there. So it's and you divide them. It's negative 5 over 2.
What do you mean whenever the powers are? Oh, like the x's?
The x's, yeah. These are in the wrong order. If you put them in standard form, then it's the front.
Yeah.
It's always the leading one, but these, or we can just look right here. It's negative.
So whenever they're the same?
The power, yeah, the highest powers are the same.
And the vertical asymptote is
Wherever the bottom equals 0.
same as domain? Whenever.
Yeah, it's the same. Domain will say x cannot equal that. But
Always?
vertical asymptotes will say x does equal that. Because on a vertical asymptote, negative 1 half, so here's 1. You can't cross a vertical asymptote, so there will never be anything there, so that point will never be included in the domain.
Look at the other one is negative 5 halves.
So the horizontal, negative 5 halves. There's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. That's negative 2.5.
Isn't it negative 1 1/2?
5?
Oh, 2.
2.5?
2.5.
Oh, yeah, 2.5.
So we got our asymptotes going. How are we going to graph it? You think?
You have to build a point.
Just plug in some points. And there's some little tricks that you can do when you plug in the points. So like let's plug in, let's just make a little table actually.
0.
Oh, you want to start over here and 0? I was going to start left to right. Let's go like plug in -2 and -1 and see what we get. If I do -2,
Positive 10 plus 1 is
it'll be 11 over
-3.
-3. So -11 thirds, what is that? -3.666666. So it's going to be 2 and -3.66, so like right there. We do -1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 minus 2 is -1. It's -6, right? See what I'm doing? Just plug in points. So -1, -6. It's going to be way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, way down here. At that point, you can pretty much stop. Here's why.
You just go phew.
Yeah, you know, it'll always approach the asymptote and never touch it. So it's going to just go, really close to there, and it's going to go really close there, and these are going to connect like that. It's going to be a nice smooth curve right through there. Will there be anything up here?
Maybe.
Nope. Not maybe. It's a function.
6 over -1.
It's not 1 over x to x over x.
It's a function, though. It's a function, so there's nothing up here. You can't have two different
Oh,
y's for the same x.
Okay.
So once you get one little section like this, you know there's nothing up here. Now you just got to worry about this side. And which I bet it's going to be up here. I'm just guessing.
That's on the top though.
I know. They're going to
I thought
switch.
you-
It's like 1 over x, how it switches.
Yeah.
So let's just plug in some points, like 0. That'd be 1 over 1. Hey, that's nice. Now let's plug in 1. -4 over 3.
-1 1/3.
Can you visualize it just off those 2 points? Probably. We should get the x-intercept though, just to be. Selena, you can see today. It's good. Not good enough. How would we find the x-intercept?
Plug in 0 for
Plug in 0 for y. So 0 equals. Here's the thing on these. If this is going to be equal to 0, well, I guess you can set it equal to the whole thing. That's just wasted ink.
You need to multiply by 1.
Yeah, what's going to happen?
So multiply by
Don't need it. It's just whenever the top equals 0. You don't even have to worry about the bottom. Because you're just going to multiply the bottom by itself on both sides, and then it's going to be the top equals 0. Right? All you care about is when the top equals 0, because 0 divided by anything is 0. So you just set the top of it equal to 0, and solve for x. So -1 divided by 5, -5 is 1/5. There's your x-intercept. Now we got a better. Pretty easy, right? Plugging in numbers. Get the asymptotes, plug in some numbers. That's it. That's all graphing is. Plugging in numbers. It is. It really is.
So I'm talking about like, I know, but she didn't say anything. Like,
Talking to who? It's talking to Bradley.
no, I know, but like, you're like talking, we're all just like,
You're like, it is. And then you start laughing.
I'm laughing at her.
it's Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday, right?
I know, you think we'd be all talking, like, what?
Any of the others from 1 through 12?
and 12.
12? Okay. Well, 12 is just matching, right? So I gotta kind of just do this. You gotta kind of just look at your book. Can't really. I'm not gonna draw them all. Should we just go through them all?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 1, or number 7.
Is it
Looks like
The
vertical.
vertical
I would just look
asymptote
for
is
vertical
-2.
asymptotes. -2. Could be D. It's D. That's the only one with the
Is
vertical.
it y equals?
No, x equals -2 is the vertical asymptote, because that's where the bottom would be 0.
So
right?
go across, right? Horizontal.
Vertical. Up and
Dude, I
down.
don't know why I get so.
Horizontal
confused.
is the horizon.
Horizontal.
Horizontal, horizon. Vertical. You ever heard like
Your vertical jump, yeah, I know, that's why I try to remember.
Wait, which one is it?
D.
D?
D?
It's the only one with the vertical asymptote. Oh, I just broke someone's car. That's mine.
Some what?
It's my car.
Wait, what do you mean?
8.
Up.
Vertical asymptotes at 3. Oh, these are really easy.
Tell me, I was fucking about when you got.
Jose,
I'm not confused on the, you know, like, X.
Good, that's about how Lex got cruise.
X. That's
Zero.
0.
Yeah, but it's,
Oh, it could be F or C.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Now look, where is the horizontal asymptote?
1 and 1, they're equal, so 4 times 4.
4 over 1,
It's F.
so it's got to be F. The other way you could have done that is gone, what is the x-intercept? Set the top equal to
No,
0,
thank you.
-1/4.
X equals 0.
Yeah.
1 over 0, or 1 over 1 is 1. So 10
10
is C.
is C. 11, 4,
Don't do it.
It's 11,
It's
E,
A.
D,
Um,
so
and it's
12,
has to be B. 'cause it's
-4 on
bottom.
bottom would make it 0, so it's B. Let's do slant asymptotes. This will be the last thing from this section.
That's why I didn't put on it. I can't remember.
But I did chapter 4, so there's only 3 questions.
Here, we'll just go graph.
Look how big my lead is. Lead.
how thick it is.
You just said lettuce. You said lead is or something? You said
Lettuce.
If we're going to graph this,
Lettuce.
Lead.
let's get everything.
Is.
Yeah.
Lettuce. Lettuce.
Domain.
X cannot equal -1.
So the vertical asymptote is at
-1.
-1, x equals -1. Horizontal asymptote.
There is none.
It's on the.
If the power on top is greater than the power on bottom, there is none. But here's the thing, this is new.
There's a horizontal one.
It's called a slant asymptote.
I mean,
We just
that's
said
what I
there is
meant.
no-
I meant slant.
What did you say?
There was a horizontal one after I just said there wasn't.
If the power on the top is exactly 1 bigger than the power on the bottom,
There's a slant.
there's a
Slash.
asymptote.
Slots and
Yeah. So, if, remember when we were using n and n?
Yeah.
The n is the power on top, n is power on bottom. So if n is exactly 1 greater than m, then we have a slant asymptote. And the way we find that, slant means it's just slanty, you know?
Does it always go that way?
It could be up or down. So we're going to find the equation of it. It's going to be like y equals 2x, right? That would be a slant. Or it could be 2x plus, it's going to be the equation of a line, one way or the other. Right?
Dude, after doing all this crazy things, you push it away so easy.
The way we find it, long division.
What?
Yep.
You divide the bottom to the top.
Yep, you divide it. You go x squared minus x divided by x plus 1. So you go x plus 1 into
Spain meeting today.
x squared minus x.
it.
Go ahead and do that, just for a little review.
It's okay, let's say it's Friday. It's X.
It doesn't come out even.
I'm here softball all day.
Yeah, it does.
Would you do a negative X?
Still like
You can put me on.
I do it to my dad as a man.
Brenna, how did you do
I
it?
think I do it to my dad, but dad does it to me. X.
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 X squared plus X.
Oh, you're subtracting. Oh my gosh.
0. Negative X minus X is negative 2X.
What?
X.
Negative X minus X is a negative 2X. You're correct, Hopkins.
That's why I was like, it doesn't add up. I was confused.
X goes into negative 2X, negative 2 times. Negative 2 times that's negative 2X minus 2. Subtract
X minus 2.
2. So there's your remainder.
Isn't it
How
negative
is
2?
it negative 2?
No,
0?
negative, negative.
Oh, 0. Oh my gosh.
Whatever.
So there's our answer. Well, the equation of the slant asymptote is the part without the remainder. So you didn't even need to write the remainder. That
X minus 2.
is your equation of your slant asymptote.
So you go to negative 2 and you just do up 1 over 1.
That's y equals x minus 2. So slant asymptote, if it's one bigger, divide it. And then whatever the non-remainder part is, that's your equation on that. And it'll always be a line, because if it's exactly one bigger, then when you go x into x squared, or even if it's x to the fifth, it'll be x to the fourth and x to the fifth, you'll always just have an x, or 2x, or 3x, or, you know, it might be a fraction, whatever. But it'll always be the equation of a line.
Wait,
So,
how do you find horizontal asymptote?
those.
Oh, you're here, should
Oh, you were here? Yeah, you need to get this. Yeah, there's rules. If the top power is smaller than the bottom power, it's the x-axis. These are the power, like n and m are the powers. Like,
I'll take a picture of it after.
yeah, okay. If they're equal, it's you divide them, and if it's greater than, then there's no horizontal one. So if we're gonna graph this sucker,
Sucker.
let's do this. I usually just start, well, you should just start with the asymptotes. So you put a vertical one and negative 1. Put the slant asymptote on there, so you gotta know how to graph a line. Hopefully that's not still an issue. You're laughing, though, that scares me.
Start at negative 2 below the middle.
Yeah, y-intercept is negative 2. Slope's 1, so up 1 over 1. So there are our asymptotes.
Whoa. Wait, can you get that back?
What are we doing? Do all of these?
Now, plug in points. Probably take like negative 2, negative 1. Not negative 1, negative 3,
I have a
negative
question.
2.
So now since the asymptote is slanted, does it mean there's going to be like one, do the regions change, you know what I mean?
There's going to be either up here or down here, and then one's going to be either up here or down here.
And do they always go like this until they ever slant?
What do you mean, like ever next to each other?
No, like are they always like this, like L's, you know, like
But yeah, because they run alongside the asymptotes.
if you just graph?
They always approach the asymptote.
I think I'm confusing myself.
You know why I didn't do negative 2 and negative 1?
Because they're the asymptote.
Yeah, the asymptote. I want to just pick negative 3, negative 2. Plug them in. Let's go, so 9 plus 3 is 12
Wait, isn't
over.
it 9 minus 3?
It'd be plus, because it's
Gosh,
minus
dang
negative.
it!
A negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2, so that's negative 6.
Oh my gosh, what
Negative
did
3.
you just do?
Negative 6. Okay. Negative 2 would be 4 plus 2, 6 over negative. What?
Isn't it negative 6? Negative 2 squared is 4.
4.
Minus a negative 2 is
6.
6, yeah, you're right.
Negative 2, it's negative. It's, oh, 6 over negative.
it's
What?
negative 1.
Negative 1. It's negative 6 again. That's amazing. I think it's right, too.
It's a million.
That's weird.
It's going to be like a,
Should we do one in between?
Yeah.
Yeah, better. Negative 2.5. Squared. 6.25. Gotcha.
he asks like we know.
8.75. I think it is. 2.5 squared is 6.25. Yeah. So you got 8.75 over negative 1.5.
Which is?
Negative 5.8. Just as I suspected. Really? Because it's going to go along that asymptote, and then it's going to come up here and curve and go back down along that one.
No, do that one.
Yes, it will always do that. Fucking 0. We'll just go 0 and 1. Because it's going to look the same as this. It's probably going to be
0 is 0.
0 is 0.
X squared
Cool.
minus x.
1 is 1 minus 1. 1 is 0, isn't it? Yeah, 1 is 0.
Squared minus 1 is 0. 1 plus 1 is...
That's stupid.
Just as I
0.5.
suspected.
Then you should just go up a little bit, like 0.2.
Something like that. Good enough. Well, they graphed it wrong in the book. I know. Yep, see, we're right.
Oh yeah, that's
Cut.
exactly like yours. He's like, that's what I'm saying. Actually, I think mine looks better than yours, but it's okay.
That looks terrible.
Look at mine, 0.
That's funny.
Does. Cool. Perfect.
She was excited.
The graphic calculator doesn't show the answer.
But that's what I was asking you. I was asking you if, like, how when it curves, like, if it ever... Don't worry. I never do that. I can't.
Just because I know that my thoughts are weird too.
Whenever you come out, I'm like,
That was bad.
I should have probably picked specific ones. But I didn't. If you could do one in each section, that would be great.
Alonda, did you do anything?
Do one of those, one of those, and one of those.
The second part.
I was trying to